And as I've been honored to go around the world now as an ambassador for disability, I found a few things that I think that might be helpful for us today. The first has to do with, in our perspective shift, are there situations or opportunities that we can see that will help create a different narrative? In the United States, the Americans with Disabilities Act, which governs our laws for people with disabilities, it begins in 1990 by being signed into law by then President George H.W. Bush. And at that time, the employment rate for people with disabilities is about 72%. And so as we fast forward now, some 27 years after the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act, the employment rate for people with disabilities in the United States, even though we have curb cutouts and we have wheelchair ramps and we have a society that increases opportunities for people with disabilities, the employment rate still remains about 71, 72%. Why is that? I believe it has to do a lot with stigma. And I had to recognize in my own life that stigma was something I had to get over. Because when I was on my lowest moment in my life, I had these negative thoughts that were a part of my psyche. I began to think to myself, who am I now? What's my identity? Will my wife still stay with me? Will my son still see me as his father? Will my own parents still look at me as their son? Will I still have a job in the United States Army? Can I support my family? All of these things were critical to me. But the first thing I had to overcome was not my amputation. Because had I overcome the amputation, I would have my leg back. It was a realization. The first thing I had to overcome was my own negative stigma on my individual beliefs. The second thing I had to overcome were the stigmas of other people. Other people believing for me what I could or could not do based upon what they thought they could or could not do if they were the amputee. We all will place our thoughts on other people based upon what we believe is possible in another person's life. And finally, the last thing I had to overcome was the societal stigmas. Why did I believe what I believed? What parts of society had I listened to tell me that my wife was going to leave, that my son was not going to see me as his father, or that I would not have a job? Something in society had to tell me this in order for me to have these thoughts that this was even possible. So I ask you, what are the things, the limiting beliefs, the barriers that happen in our minds that make us believe that people with disabilities cannot achieve?